in a quiet green garden where the flowers grew tall and the morning air smelled of soft rain and sweet grass. There lived a small caterpillar named Clara. Clara was gentle. She was thoughtful. She moved slowly and carefully through the world, noticing things others rushed past. She noticed the way dewdrops caught the morning light. She noticed the way leaves smelled after rain. She noticed everything. But there was one thing Clara could not stop noticing: herself. She was slow. She was soft. She had no wings. Every morning the butterflies came. They drifted above the garden like floating pieces of sunlight, yellow, orange, violet, gold. The other creatures stopped to watch them. The bees hummed appreciatively. The flowers leaned slightly toward them. Even the wind seemed to move gently around them. Clara watched from her leaf and felt something heavy settle in her chest. She did not have a word for it yet, but it sat there every morning without fail. One warm afternoon, a young butterfly landed on the branch just above her. Her wings were amber and gold, catching the light like stained glass. She looked down at Clara with kind, easy eyes. "Hello," she said simply. Clara looked down at her own soft, round body moving slowly along the bark. "Hello," she said quietly. The butterfly stayed for a moment, then lifted easily into the air and was gone. Clara watched until she could not see her anymore. Then she climbed under a large leaf and stayed there for the rest of the day. She told herself it did not matter, but every morning after that she chose the leaves furthest from the flowers, the ones where the butterflies did not land, the ones where nobody looked. One morning Clara heard two young beetles talking on a nearby stone. She was not trying to listen, but the garden was quiet and voices carry. "Did you see that caterpillar hiding under the big leaf again?" said the first. "She's always alone," said the second. "She never comes out," they moved on without another word. Simple, casual, true. Clara stayed completely still for a long time after they left. She thought about all the mornings she had chosen the far leaves, all the times she had seen the butterflies coming and moved away before they arrived, all the small quiet ways she had been making herself invisible. And she understood something that hurt more than the beetles' words. She had been ashamed, not of something she had done, but of something she simply was. That night she climbed to the highest branch she could reach and looked out at the garden below. The flowers were closing for the evening. The last butterflies were drifting home through the warm golden air. She watched them for a long time. Then she looked at her own reflection in a drop of dew on the leaf beside her, round, slow, soft, still. She did not look away this time. Something was changing inside Clara. She did not understand it yet, but her body knew before her mind did. One morning she woke with a deep quiet pull telling her it was time. Time for what? She did not fully know, but she followed it. Slowly and carefully she began to wrap herself in silk, thread by thread, layer by layer. The garden disappeared. The light disappeared. The butterflies and flowers and morning air all disappeared. Inside the cocoon it was completely dark and quiet in a way Clara had never experienced before. No beetles, no butterflies, no reflection in a dewdrop to look away from. Just herself, completely and entirely herself. And for the first time in her life there was nowhere to hide, not even from herself. It was the hardest thing she had ever done. Not the wrapping, not the waiting, but the being. Just being what she was in the dark with no audience and no escape. Days passed, then more days. The garden continued outside. Rain fell, sun returned, flowers opened and closed. Life moved on as it always does. And Clara stayed in the dark and did the quiet, invisible work of becoming. There were moments she wanted to stop. Moments the darkness felt like it would never end. Moments she could not imagine anything existing beyond the silence and the still. But something deeper than fear kept her there. Something patient and certain and old as the garden itself. She stayed. Then one morning something felt different. The silk felt thinner. The darkness felt lighter. And something inside Clara, something she had never felt before, pressed gently outward. She pushed slowly, carefully, the way she had always done everything. And the cocoon began to open. The light came in like a warm flood. She climbed out slowly onto the branch and sat very still, feeling the morning air for the first time in what felt like forever. Her body felt different, lighter, and then she felt them on her back, folded and new and trembling slightly in the morning breeze. She turned her head slowly and saw them, wings, pale gold and soft white, catching the early light. She sat there for a long time without moving, not from fear, not from shame, just from the quiet wonder of it. She looked out at the garden, the same garden she had hidden from for so long, and it looked entirely different from here. Or perhaps she was different. Perhaps it was both. She opened her wings slowly, felt the air beneath them, and lifted. The garden rose beneath her. The flowers she had always watched from a distance passed gently below. The morning light moved through her wings and scattered into color. She was not graceful yet. She was not certain yet. But she was flying. And somewhere in the warm morning air she understood what the darkness had really been. Not a punishment, not an ending. Just the quiet necessary space between who she was and who she was always going to become. She had not been ashamed of the wrong thing. She had simply not known yet what the right thing was. Now she did.